There are some people who are just too poisoned to even begin to help. But you know what? I interviewed last week a man called Loe al-Sharif. He grew up in Saudi Arabia on a diet of Jew hatred, was told to read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, you know that book, which is basically a book written in Russia, I think, was it in the late 1800s, that claimed that there's a small Jewish elite that runs the world. And he was raised on that, told that that's fact. And he hated Jews, and he went to a French exchange program and was put with a Jewish family without realizing it. And he panicked and told the people that he wanted to be moved out. Anyway, he had to wait a few days. And by being exposed to this Jewish family, it totally changed his whole view. He heard the voice of his conscience. A bit like, Mossab Hassan Youssef, who grew up in Gaza, son of Hamas co-founder. And through a bit of hearing his conscience, through a bit of exposure to the wider world and facts, he changed. So that should give us a great source of hope that people can change through sharing the facts. But as I say as well, I think also by introducing the spiritual component as well, and saying that, because that actually can cut through it all. If you just say very simply that this is the land given to us by our Creator.
It works for Christians. I'm not so sure it works for Muslims. What do you think of that?
I think it's the only thing that they will respect. They might be against it initially, but it's the only language we have a hope of trying to get them to come round to. That's what Loe al-Sharif came round to, by the way. He believed. By the way, the Quran mentions that Allah gave the land to the Jewish people numerous times. Never once mentions the word Palestine, obviously, because it didn't exist at the time, right? But it does resonate with someone. It resonated with him, certainly. And I think it's, as I say, the only thing that we have a hope of doing. And you should know, biblically, Ishmael does come round. He does make amends with Isaac and with the rest of his family. And I think there's a precedent there that we see that we will reconcile. I think we definitely hear the people with the loudest barks. So we're hearing from the people who are most hostile to Israel because they're going out onto the streets, and because and the media like to, because it gets views, it gets hits. And there's no doubt there is a significant portion of the global population that does have that viewpoint. But I think we have to have it in perspective. I would say the vast majority of experiences I've had wearing my kippah out, the vast majority have actually been positive, where people want to tell you that, I actually support the Jews, or shalom or something. It's not always, but I think that most people in this world would not want to think that they're anti-Semitic. But also, even where there is hate, I strongly believe, and this really embodies the whole purpose of JTV, that the way we deal with Jew hate ultimately is not by hiding away in a corner. Jews tried to assimilate in Europe and in Germany in particular, and how did that? It didn't work. It doesn't work. I think it was the Kotzker Rebbe who said, if the Jews don't make Kiddush, then the nations will make Havdalah. If the Jews don't do their role, the nations will force them into their role through hate by saying, you're not one of us. So what that's basically saying is that we can't escape our mission. We can't. It's too essential to the world. And so the solution to anti-Semitism is actually to step into our Jewishness fully and enlighten and share our values and our messages with the world and bring them around to us. The whole point of the Jewish people is to be the world's moral teachers. And yet we try to tell them and say, oh, look, we're just defending ourselves and we have the right to be. You're talking to the students. We're the teachers in the room. And we try to answer to those who are lecturing us, who are the students. We're trying to answer to those who want to lecture us, who can't tell us what a woman is. I mean, it's insane. And so the whole paradigm, the whole way of thinking, though, has to be more Jewish pride, more Jewish self-confidence, more affirmation. Because that's what Hamas were trying to do. They were trying to shake our confidence in ourselves. So absolutely the solution is not to hide away and worry, how am I going to... We have to be confident in our mission and our purpose.